I'm gonna go watch what this guy has to say. I'm really
Bro,
interested.
I give you one slot to play if you want.
What slot?
Moon Princess 1000.
Oh my god. Okay, never heard about that. Never heard about that.
Watch it, bro. Fuck me.
Coffezilla.
Type Moon Princess 1000. Oh, you watched Coffezilla first.
Yeah, I have to watch that.
Yeah, it's fine.
The Dark Side of Counter-Strike 2.
Made millions and millions of
Okay, let's see this. Let's see video. But what I wanted to say as well. Okay, this shit is almost uploaded.
euros. I'm going to be
I don't know what I'm pressing.
justice.
Oh my god, this guy again.
I get told that they had posted flyers
guy
everywhere in my
again.
city, and I mean everywhere. High schools, malls.
They need to go in, even if there's a security guard, even if they're gonna be taken away. If somebody goes home walking, they will be fired.
They sent 18 people
the same shit
outside my
he's
door
reading.
having a quote-unquote protest.
We are having war with others as well. Most of the CSGO gambling sites are scams.
I want to know who's really behind this thing.
Most of the CSGO gambling sites are scams. What the fuck? But he's a CSGO gambling site.
Who's really the victims?
I feel like he's fucking jealous. Everybody else making maybe more money than him. I don't know, man. It's fucking crazy. And this guy is making spam reports. He's probably the guy who got what's his name? Furious banned, Anomaly banned. What's the other guy name? Neok banned, Doc banned. Who else got banned? More people I saw. Not Tweetail. More people got banned because their videos got removed and YouTube accepted his spam reports. Like his cult goes and spam reports videos.
And who's really the villain?
In our last video, we got bribed, but instead of taking it, we exposed the people who offered
Yeah, bro,
it.
you didn't get bribed this much. If you got bribed this much, you would accept it. You got bribed 20k, bro. 20k, that's how much most of us streamers spend in a night. So you didn't get bribed anything special. If he offered you 300k, you would take that in a heartbeat and wouldn't do any videos.
We got bribed, but instead of taking it, we exposed the people who offered it. Now it's time to expose the rest of the Counter-Strike gambling industry and the influencers who promote it for millions a year.
Am I mentioned? Will I be mentioned?
Here, let's start with the basics of what Counter-Strike gambling really is, though. Counter-Strike is a first-person shooter video game where you can buy cosmetic options for your guns called skins. You can get these by paying $2.50 to open a loot box. It spins like a slot machine, and you get a random skin. There's an entire economy that's grown out of their rarity, and you can sell these skins for pennies or up to tens of thousands of dollars depending on their rarity. You can then take those skins to Counter-Strike casinos where they will be accepted as currency instead of cash. They use their real-world value to turn this video game into Vegas. You can play slots.
Very true. But he's still not mentioning Valve. I hope he mentions that Valve enabled all of this. Because on Valve's Steam, there is money. You know, like all these skins are worth money on Valve's Steam and everywhere outside of Valve's Steam. But Valve say that they are not worth money. But somehow money is written under them as value.
Slots, roulette, and more, all with a video game skin. Think of it like their version of poker chips. And when I first began to investigate this, I thought, why don't people just use a regular casino? You know, why use Counter-Strike skins for this? Well, I decided to investigate by interviewing a bunch of people who do use Counter-Strike casinos, and I found a disturbing trend.
I think it's because using Counter-Strike Steam and Valve, you can actually gamble if you're under 18, thanks to Valve. I think that's the reason. And then the kids get hooked onto Valve and CS, and through Steam deposit money, open the Valve cases, and then later they figure out, okay, these Valve cases are not worth much. I'm spending $500 and not getting anything. I have a bigger chance if I go to these other sites which offer me a better chance than Valve. And then they just get hooked to it. That's what I think. Maybe I'm wrong, but that just makes sense because that's how I started.
I've been in the gambling community in Counter-Strike for about, I'd say since 12 years old.
I started gambling on Counter-Strike when I was probably 13 years old.
13 years old.
14 years old.
I think I was 14. Started gambling on CSGO at the age of 12 and 13, pretty much right around there, my 13th birthday.
Yeah, most of the people I spoke to started gambling.
Yeah, it doesn't have much to do with Valve at all. Gaben is not using kids to get money. Nah.
Our age, and it was while they were playing the game. And this trend continues beyond the anecdotal. This YouTuber named Jeff surveyed over 9,000 players, and he found that around 70% of Counter-Strike gamblers start underage. Now, themed casinos have always had an audience, but with Counter-Strike, there is an underage gateway to all of this because all you need is $2.50 to get your first skin through Valve, and you don't even need to show ID, which is a huge part of this. Even worse, when you go from the game to the casinos, which are hosted on third-party websites, most don't ID the players either. Or if they do, it's only after you've already gambled thousands of dollars, which is a bit like if a liquor store asked for ID after you drank 10 bottles of liquor. It's obviously absurd, but it's also very profitable because
Very true. Very true.
Gamblers not only are new customers, they're way more likely to become gambling addicts, which is how casinos make most of their money. These days, most physical casinos have a strict ID policy at the door. This isn't because they're good people, it's because they're heavily regulated and would lose their gambling license if they knowingly allowed underage players. But Counter-Strike gambling is fundamentally different. Regulation for these casinos is almost non-existent because they're offshore in Malta, Curacao, Cyprus, and most of them are using loopholes to pretend that this isn't even gambling at all. Look, I'm not going to go into too much detail here because different casinos use different loopholes, but suffice to say, this has been going on a long time. Back in 2016, a very similar story broke in a big way about scam casinos and underage
children as young as 11 introduced to
gambling problems in Counter-Strike, and everyone was understandably enraged. Valve even got involved.
Valve sent cease and desist to 23 CSGO skin betting sites.
Send out cease and desist letters. Even the FTC went after influencers.
CSGO Lotto owners settle FTC first ever complaint against digital social media influencers.
But when the dust settled, there weren't that many consequences. Part of the reason was because of these loopholes. In fact, the most infamous
casino says it was never a gambling site, and here's why. Customers could have played for free. All they had to do was read the fine print.
You know, CSGO Lotto claimed not even to be a casino at all. They said they were a sweepstakes. Now, this is obviously absurd. It's not true, but none of that matters because it got them out of trouble. And so the same types of casinos have continued, just with new owners and new names. What you're left with then is an industry that is unregulated, if anything, self-regulated, which I discovered creates its own race to the bottom problem, because consumer protection in an unregulated market will literally drive away your customers. For example, remember Monarch from the last video and his casino CSGO Empire? One of the things they do that I actually think is good is they block certain IPs.
Some countries block from CSGO Empire due to the laws and regulations with restricted access from some countries. For example, online gambling is not permitted in the USA, which is why we don't allow traffic from USA IP
where
addresses.
Gambling is illegal, and they admit that what they're doing is.
As you may know, CSGO gambling doesn't have a good reputation. For the most part, CSGO gambling sites have non-regulated, non-transparent, in many cases illegal, and worst of all, fraudulent. Our mission is to fix that. Empire is widely known for its stance on fairness and transparency. We are one of the first licensed and regulated skin gambling websites. We do our best to make the system as fair as transparent as possible.
Now, you can easily get around these geo restrictions with a VPN, but it's sort of an extra hurdle. Most Counter-Strike casinos don't even do this. And listen to one gambler explain why this tiny decision to just geo-block one region, the US, affected who he chose to gamble with.
So when I went onto Empire, while it's still easy to bypass it, you could just put a VPN, just takes an extra 5 minutes. CSGO Roll, I can just, once again, type it into my browser, deposits.
Oh, you're an American?
Yes, correct, yes.
So no VPN restriction, no geo-blocking?
Yes, correct. So on Roll, 0 VPN blocking, 0 any bypassing. On Empire, there is blocking, but it truthfully is very easy to bypass.
Right. That makes sense. Most people end up going with the casino who asks them less questions, requires less from you. Even if you're not illegally trying to gamble, you just don't want to have to put in personal information, anything like that. This all taught me that in the world of unregulated gambling, it's more complicated than just saying, okay, casinos want toddlers gambling. It's also market dynamics, right? You get a competitive edge by not regulating. Less work, more customers, more money, which means you can't just solve the problem by wagging your finger at bad casinos. The entire system is broken. As long as these loopholes exist, why would anyone change? In fact, some websites like Clash.gg even
Yeah.
advertise their lack of regulation.
This is the site for which all the YouTubers got flagged on, I'm pretty sure.
As a feature, not a bug. The CEO
I remember I saw a tweet, I think from Furious.
even bragged
Clash paid out his biggest one-time cash out of around 250,000 coins tonight instantly with no verification. The user got the money within 5 minutes with zero hassle. Couldn't be more happy with the product and reputation we are building.
on Twitter, quote, Clash just paid out its biggest one-time cash out instantly with no verification.
Yo, bro, Shuffle paid out 500,000, but he had to do verification. Everybody has to do verification because Shuffle is not a CSGO gambling website.
Couldn't be more happy with the product and reputation we are
So
building.
Shuffle, top G's.
This
Good
guy
games, baby. I was not here when you all left.
This
Very
is
good
a
games. I had
badge
really
of honor
fun.
to do no checks. And it is a positive reputation if you want to appeal to underage players, money launderers, or just people who want to avoid a hassle, a VPN and putting in an ID. And this is all a huge problem. But how big of a problem is it, you might wonder? After all, we're talking about video game skins. How much money could this industry really be worth? I wondered the same thing. So I asked around for how much these casinos are making and got several estimates. One owner claims he has
We pay out 500k a day in withdrawals. 150k giveaway once a month has close to 0% on our overall monthly profit. That is a rounding error. Why risk a 8-figure business over a giveaway?
8-figure business, and someone who worked for his partner claims that is true. How much does he make on Clash?
His partner, Boris, right, also known as Dogs Playing Poker, Friendly Chemist, he told me directly that it was making about 50 million a month.
That's a lot of money, and this roughly matches what the popular gambling Counter-Strike YouTuber told me as well, saying he'd estimate these
Well, Valve made 1 billion from Kiss in 2023, probably even more this year. I estimate these sites are making tens of millions monthly.
sites are making tens of millions monthly. And there are so many of these sites that the YouTuber Jeff estimated it all in a different way, looking at the total amount of website traffic compared to a popular online casino.
So when you bring them together, those CSGO websites bring almost double the traffic of the biggest online casino today. And this online casino declared a gross revenue of 2.6 billion.
Stake increased the popularity and reached this 13 billion in revenue in 2022.
In 2022. Now, that doesn't mean the CSGO websites are grossing more, but it's a great element to put things in perspective.
So even though it's tough getting an exact number since these casinos might overestimate or underestimate for many reasons, either way, it's clear these businesses are making huge amounts of money.
Bro, they are full. They are full.
And there's many of these casinos. We've just focused on a few in our videos, but
Mismo majstori igre.
Bro, these ads, bro. Do I really have to get an ad block? I don't want to do that to the content creators.
more of these websites, each potentially making millions a month. And no one's going to change their behavior until they're incentivized to by regulation across the board. Until then, less
But
regulation.
the only person who can regulate it is Valve, or somebody has to regulate Valve. And that would be better if somebody regulates Valve.
Will always mean a wider customer base, even if some
Because
of
then
those
from there, because everything starts from there. And if everything starts from there and somebody regulates them, then from there everything's kind of fixed, no? Or am I wrong?
customers are underage. The irony here being the biggest voice of change so far really has been Monarch. From the last video, you guys know I am no fan of this guy's methods, but I'll be honest, there's large parts of his public arguments that are hard to argue with. He claims to understand the underage problem because that's how he started as well.
How I got into gambling myself was when I was 13 and I was playing RuneScape, and how the duel arena was like a gateway drug for me. That's how gambling started for me, and that's where it went into third-party sites. I'm just disgusted about this whole loop. I think that the whole case system on Steam is pretty horrible. The way how there is no KYC, it's such a powerful tool for getting children and even adults. I think even adults, they have a gambling problem. It's not only like it's not a age exclusive thing. It's just a matter.
Bro, I think Monarch is very wrong. Like, he needs to listen to my friend Restream Pixel. Restream Pixel told me if you're doing this on Valve, it's a hobby. But if you're doing it anywhere else, then it's a problem. Now, I kind of want to believe him because he's like very famous and popular. He's smart, no?
Machine that makes people gamble. Imagine there's a kid who just plays CSGO and they open one box. Pretty innocent. They get their mom's credit card. They spend €2 to open a box. Okay, then they open a second box, third box, fourth box, and so on.
Guys, this was me. Guys, this was me.
And soon they see their favorite influencer playing on some third-party case.
This happened to me, guys. I wasn't gambling, I wasn't doing anything, and then because of Valve and all this, I started gambling. Now I have a fucking gambling problem, bro, and I can't stop. I can't stop, I need help.
Opening site. And this is where it's like switching from weed straight to, I don't know, amphetamine or something. And they just
How does he know though? That's sus.
Go deeper and deeper into this rabbit hole, and soon they are addicted. And the next thing you know, when they want to stop gambling, it's easy to just close these websites. But what happens when you go on social media? You go on YouTube, Instagram, Twitch, TikTok, any platform. What do you get? You get gambling ads everywhere. The algorithm starts feeding you. It's like, imagine you are addicted to heroin, and then everywhere you go, you just see like heroin, heroin, heroin. Here, look, your hero is taking heroin.
So, we have to separate.
He's right. He's actually right.
Two things out. Yes, this guy's methods are terrible, but I'll admit, it's nice to see a casino owner talking honestly about their industry and admitting that what it is gambling and not some kind of sweepstakes. But even if Monarch says he wants to change, without the actual power of a regulator, he just ends up having to harass people, threaten people, which isn't going to get him anywhere. Not only that, he's no saint either. His own website doesn't ID people right away. According to CSGO's Empire's terms, they only require you to verify your age if you want to withdraw more than 2,000 coins in crypto or deposit substantial.
Guys, the $20,000 leaderboard is live. Lobanjica.com. You have two leaderboards. One is for $10,000 and the second one $20,000. So check out my website. You have giveaways. You have a lot of free stuff you can be part of, and you can compete every single month.
Amounts of money. If you withdraw via skins, there is no limit. So even the guy who claims he started underage gambling, he understands the gateway drug that skin betting websites act as. Even he refuses to fully ID customers because he knows he'd go out of business.
I'm really committed to, I want to make it stricter and stricter. Like, you can't jump to the deep end just like immediately on one day. That would make us go out of business. But really my end goal is I want to do full-blown KYC before anybody deposits. I want to make it as clean as possible.
This, more than anything, shows the limit to the let's self-regulate idea, right? Even the biggest critic of underage gambling can't bring himself to actually ID his customers up front because his competitors won't do it, and he says it would ruin his business. So maybe the solution isn't with the casinos at all. Maybe it's a good time to talk about the influencers who promote it instead.
Guys, am I in trouble now? Because I should be in trouble, no? Okay, let's see.
Because
I'm not that big and I don't promote CSGO gambling though, right? Because I barely even play now CS. I'm like more into, shuffle.
When I learned and asked about people who got into this type of gambling, I wondered, how did they get into it in the first place? Who did they hear about it from? And one thing kept popping up.
One of the primary ways I actually learned was through YouTube. It popped up in my recommended page because I was a big fan of Counter-Strike. I'd play it, in my free time. Some gambling videos popped up and I thought, hey,
Streamers kind of exposed me to that space first.
I saw it online. I saw a bunch of these YouTubers playing it.
Found out CSGO gambling just pretty much through watching people on Twitch and YouTube. Juicy was one of them. I actually remember very vividly. He was this guy that
who's Juicy?
Would do all these case openings on different websites and such. He was very much affiliated with them. He had codes and all of these things.
I've been surrounded by like Syndicate and like FaZe Clan, for example.
I watched
FaZe Clan.
My favorite YouTubers.
Right. YouTubers and streamers, of course, are going to be one of the main advertising vectors. It's been that way since 2016. Influencers are the main lifeblood of these casinos.
Guilty, guys. Guilty. You see this, guys? Guilty. That's what I'll tell you. Don't sub to my stream. I'm a piece of shit. Don't spend your money on us streamers. You don't need to do that. Save your money. Buy your mom, your girlfriend, your wife some flowers. Whatever. Do something else with your money. Don't sub to us. Don't spend money on us streamers. No matter, you might only hate me and be like, only Loba is like this, but bro, 90% of the CS streamers are or have or are or will take gambling CS sponsors because that's how we make money. It's our job, you know? So listen, guilty. You feel me? But you won't hear this from others. Others are gonna be like, it's a hobby, you know? They're just doing a hobby, you know?
Fast forward 8 years later, it's just
They're
different.
gonna try to validate how opening cases on Valve ain't that bad as opening cases on other sites which give you better chances. You know, they're gonna try to like make it seem better than it is, but actually it's worse because people spend more money on Valve and lose more than on any of these other sites. And through Valve, when they see how much they lose on Valve on CS2, then they figure out like, bro, I'm not gonna be brain dead like Restream Pixel. I'll just go open on Smart Place where I can win more. You know, so through him, they do what he does, they see it, then they realize, okay, this guy fucking stupid as fuck, and they go and open where they need to open, like on places where they have a bigger chance. So both, like all of us, we need to put our hand up, guilty. Feel me?
Influencers, different casinos making the money than before, but unlike casinos who we know intuitively are blood-sucking leeches on society, influencers, by contrast, are they're well, we expect more from them. We don't get it, but we expect more. So I wanted to confront 3 different influencers who do this gambling streaming stuff of different sizes and get their
Am I gonna be here?
opinions.
I'll ask you for fun. I did a gamble once in my life, bro. That's you, and I'm happy for you, but not everybody's like that. I personally as well, when I see something, like I see a lot of people of these streamers doing drugs. I won't say which, but there's a lot of CS streamers who do drugs, and I saw it on LAN, and I saw on LAN at the major dudes smoking weed, taking cocaine before games. I was there. They told me why they do it. I saw admin from a major standing in front with 5 players around him, and they're smoking weed before going on the stage. I saw all of this, but that doesn't make me go and do the same thing, thinking that, okay, if I take cocaine like they do, if I take this shit, it's gonna make me good at Counter-Strike, okay? I don't do that as well. So you might be like that, I might be like that, but not everybody's like that. So that's why I say all of us streamers, we are same guilty. Just the ones who have even bigger reach are even more guilty. Because if you're having like 40k, 30k viewers, and then you go and you open cases on Valve, and you say, guys, don't worry, this is not gambling, this is a hobby. And then later when this starts, you say, Valve have their own casino. Like something's fucked up with you, no? Because before it was a hobby, now Valve has a casino. Like, make up your mind, bro. They do coke, weed during the major. Yeah, I was there, I saw it. Now, Linus, I saw both. I'm just saying, I saw weed in front of a admin because they were picky maps, and 5 of them they were passing a joint, and I didn't see. Okay, I'm gonna lie. I didn't see with my eyes somebody taking cocaine, but I was told on TeamSpeak by players that they do it before a game because they get more confident and they are less nervous. On the major that they did it. Okay.
Why they promote this stuff and how they can possibly justify it.
I don't think people should gamble, honestly, on the sites. They shouldn't gamble at all. But I enjoy doing it, so it's what I do.
Okay. Coke is like standard today. Where do you live, Loba? I mean, bro, I'm just saying I don't do it. Okay, people are doing it, cool. But I'm saying it, others doing it will make me do it. But not everybody's like that. So others seeing stuff and seeing us streamers gamble and everything, a lot of them gonna go do it.
Makes any sense.
But I'd still always say, and me personally, I do it. So I can't say where, but I do it on multiple sites, different sites, current sites, off stream, on stream, and even Vanya can confirm that when she wakes up in the morning and I wake up before her, she can find me on the PC playing, you know. That's why sometimes you'll see my balance bigger, sometimes lower, because sometimes I'll just do it in the morning when I wake up. I'll get my shake, she's still in the bed, I'll drink the shake and I'll play it. But that's me, you know, like people shouldn't be doing that.
I don't know.
No. That part of it makes sense. That the part where you want to do it so you continue to do it, that makes sense. But let's say I'm like, I don't think smoking's good for you, but I like smoking. It makes sense that I would smoke. It doesn't make sense that I would go promote it to get people to smoke.
I know.
Okay, it does make sense, Coffezilla, you go and promote it if the people who know that you're smoking come and tell you, oh, listen, I'll give you $1 million, go tell your friends you're smoking, tell them you're smoking our cigarettes because our cigarettes are better than the other cigarettes, while all the cigarettes are shit. So, of course, you're going to say it then, you know, you're going to promote it then. Right? Or am I saying something wrong? Because he's not going and promoting gambling for free. He's getting money to do it, while he himself does it, or did it before, or enjoys doing it. Now, he's actually making money doing something he does already and loves. Does that make sense or no?
I definitely understand that perspective too.
Hey, Grim doesn't know how to talk. Coffezilla caught him off guard. Grim's kind of lost. I'll just reply to him, yeah, bro, like, I'm getting paid to tell people that I'm doing this. So, should I be silent and just do it without telling people that I'm doing it? Why? I can now do what I like to do and at the same time make money doing what I like to do.
Like, yeah, it's a very good argument, and it's like you can't really argue against it, right? It's just it's not a good thing, but it's something that I still enjoy doing, and so.
Yeah, bro, you already said that. Okay, this guy pretty fucking stupid. No wonder he doesn't go out of his house and doesn't eat. He's fucking dumb. But bro, you enjoy doing it, cool. But he's telling to you something that, hey brother, why do you go out there and promote it to others? And your reply should be, because I get paid to do what I enjoy doing already, plus I'm making money by telling others that they can do it as well if they want to do it. That's the reply. But this guy needs brain. He's lacking brain. He got a lot of money, but he fucking missing brain.
I'm going to...
And he probably didn't have a lot of sex. He looks like a dude who doesn't have a lot of sex.
To continue to do it.
Is it just too much money? That's an acceptable answer. It's just too much money to turn down.
Exactly.
I'd say...
Bro, be transparent. These people fucking weak. They're not transparent, bro. They're not transparent and honest to themselves as well.
In the beginning, it probably was too much money. At this point, like, it's not about the money for me. It's just, I really enjoy doing it.
Well, in the video...
Bro, he's full of shit. But I don't know how people don't see through these people. That's full of shit. That's really shit.
I don't sugarcoat. I don't try to convince people that winning or gambling is a way or a solid option to flip a quick buck. Even in my wins, I preface that this is not a sustainable thing. So it's not something that I necessarily. I don't know. You can watch the videos and decide for yourself if it feels like promotion, but that's how I reason it to myself. I don't even, use the rewards. I don't advertise it at all. So I don't, the rewards thing, it's more of like I said, I don't advertise it. So
bro, why can these people be transparent? What the fuck is this? What is this? I don't advertise every day, and there's like claim cases, footy codes. I'm playing here. Like, what is this?
I don't
but
feel
you
guilty.
do advertise. You get paid to advertise it, right?
Not the reward system. No, I don't mention the rewards.
No. I'm saying CS:GO roll.
Yes.
We're talking about the gambling side.
Yes.
We both know it's not going to be good for people. And then you're kind of saying, well, I don't really promote it. I don't really advertise it.
Wait. It's not going to be good for people. Wait a minute. If somebody comes, he deposits and wins from $100, $1K, that's good for him. Like, I had that guy, Jesus is King, his name was, on stream. He deposited 150K, went out with $500,000, right? I think that was good for him. Now, at the same time, yes, there's gonna be people for who it's not gonna be good for, but you can't say it's bad for everybody. The people who win, it's good for them. You know, like if that's what I always tell. If you won, like Freezer came to me. I said, bro, you tipped me $40 and I won 200. I'm like, okay, keep it, leave, okay, don't go again, don't keep doing that shit. Just leave. You got the 200, leave. You know. Now, if you keep doing it, yeah, then that's bad because you're stupid. You have to control yourself when you win. I don't know. Like that's my. If you can take steroids the right way, steroids can be good. If you can take weed the right way, weed can be good. If you're having panic attacks or whatever and you take weed and it calms you down at that moment, but you don't take weed in the morning, in the afternoon, at night, before sleep, during sex, during whatever, then it's bad. But if you know how to manage it, I think it can be good. So if somebody can win and stop, it can be good. The same way it can be very bad for somebody who gets super addicted and doesn't know how to stop. Like, or maybe I'm wrong.
But in a way, if you didn't promote or advertise it, they wouldn't pay you
Absolutely.
millions of dollars.
Yeah, I watched your Trainwrecks video and you said the same thing. You're like the less dirtier of the dirt bags. So I guess I would call myself that. And ultimately, if you watch the video, you can decide like how less dirty is he really. But yeah, that's my answer.
You know, most people are going to
Elderbreak, who the fuck is this?
Fortunately, gamble with or without certain streamers, right? Obviously, it's intended to be like a McDonald's ad. You see a McDonald's ad, you see a Big Mac, you're gonna go, you know, I'm craving a Big Mac. So it's the same concept.
You're saying like, oh, I'm just like kind of promoting McDonald's, whatever.
No, it's not. It's not like promoting McDonald's. Let's be honest. Gambling is a terrible addiction. My closest friend has a very, very bad gambling addiction. He'll get paid on, let's say, a Tuesday, and by Tuesday night or Wednesday morning, his whole paycheck is gone for 2 weeks, and then he has no money. And no matter what I do to intervene to help that individual try to hold his money, to help him sit there and self-exclude, he finds ways, because it's an addiction. It's just as bad as any other drug because of that dopamine rush.
Yeah, the answers were part admissions, part rationalizations. They all knew gambling was bad, but they'd stop short of actually doing something about it because they were making money from it, even when they knew people whose own lives were hurt by it. So if you know the harm firsthand, you've seen it in your own life.
Yeah.
Bro, can there be more ads? Like, what the fuck? Hello? Any more ads here?
Justify peddling that drug, as you call it.
It's going to happen in my opinion, right? And like, there is no justification. Can I say like I'm a drug dealer? Sure, you could, you know, you're gonna label certain streamers are gonna be labeled as a drug dealer, in essence, and that's okay, I guess, if people are going to view it that way. I mean, I want to know how you view it. How I feel,
because you said it was kind of like a drug. So I want.
It is a drug. I mean, it hits the dopamine levels. Hell, I get hit in dopamine levels if I hit big. It's yeah, you know, and then that becomes a YouTube trick. I feel bad. I do, right? I hate to hear when people say I've lost money. I hate it, dude. I really, it crushes me because some people legit do it because they're bored and then they lose everything they have, and it is a terrible feeling to hear that, right?
Not to question their sincerity, but I've heard all of them say that they hate when people get addicted. They don't want to see anyone hurt, but they refuse to stop even though they know casinos are run on addicts. Fun fact, Clash.gg, who earlier we had their CEO admitting he was proud of not IDing players, also admitted...
Less than 1% of Clash accounts make up for 8% of our... less than 1% of Clash can make... Everyone has gambled at one point or another, and a very small portion develop issues. Calling anyone who enjoys gambling desperate and running their life persuades a narrative to people that you can't gamble in a healthy manner. If people think they can never gamble healthy, they won't learn and build good. What?
That the majority of their revenue comes from a tiny fraction of their most addicted players. Quote, less than 1% of Clash accounts make up 80% of our revenue. It's just an admission from their founder. It's an open secret. So these influencers can empathize about how horrible addiction is, but they know that's where their paycheck comes from. The CEO of Clash has a profile on Twitter that says, never gamble, the house always wins. But ironically, his house is probably from people gambling. The fact of the matter is that these people say with their mouth, I feel terrible, I feel bad. But when it comes to actually changing, they never do. Even when they directly scam people, they will still find a way to rationalize it. And this next part is pretty dark. But for a moment, we're going to have to go back for a second to the PGL Major Tournament and talk about the thing...
Guys, money moves the world, you know? Like, that's why I say whenever people come to my stream, Loba, you make me laugh, Loba, you're great. I just say, bro, certain things we all do makes us shitty people, shitty persons. But you just have to admit, in some ways, being good, in some ways being bad, and try to, in other things, bring out good karma and hope that it's gonna be okay at the end, but I think you're not gonna fuck up too many people. I'm just keeping it full transparent. And I always say, as you see shit on TV, cigarettes, alcohol, medication, drugs, how you want to call it, it's kind of the same with what streamers doing. We're promoting gambling. I go turn on the TV and I see, I don't want to say the names, but you see casinos, you see betting sites, you go to the major, you see betting sites, casino sites, you see it everywhere. So we're doing the same, all of these other, like the TV, radio, everybody's doing. So it's hard to justify it. You can't. You just have to say, yeah, I'm a piece of shit. I accepted doing it, and we all do it. And I'll kind of feel shitty saying, nah, I'm better than these other ones. The same way Restream Pixel can say he's better than all of us others, and he's not doing something bad as all of us others are doing. Because we're all doing the same shit. We're all promoting case opening and gambling through the cases. No matter is it Valve, is it whatever, but his shit is the worst, and that's why I have so much hate for him all the time. Because his shit is the worst because he calls it a hobby and he calls it better than others, when it's actually, with the percentages and the amount of losses, much worse than anything else. And it has even less and less and less checking of your verification, age, or anything. So when he says that his shit and what he's doing is a hobby and it's okay, that it's better than what everyone else is doing, I find it very hypocritical, because if you look at it, and even Coffezilla said it, Valve shit is the worst because they did do absolutely zero checking of anything. So I'm just saying, I only like being transparent with my viewers, no matter how many we have and who's here, no matter how much hate I get, I always say yep. And whenever somebody comes and gives subs and says something nice, I'm always like, bro, stay for a while and you'll see I ain't that nice. You know? I ain't that nice. You know? And I always tell you guys, don't spend money on streamers, because all of us streamers, no matter the size of the streamer, whoever has a case opening sponsor, betting sponsor, skin trading sponsor, gambling sponsor, whatever sponsor you have, we get huge amounts of money, and you guys spending your money on us to sub or whatever is stupid. Don't do that.
Originally offered a bounty to investigate a specific casino that is owned by the same group as CSGO Roll, but this one is called HypeDrop. It's owned by Monarch's arch nemesis. HypeDrop was a casino where instead of gambling Counter-Strike skins, you could gamble real-world items, like real-world loot boxes. For example, you could pay for a real loot box that would get you anything from like a $10 gift card to a Lamborghini, for example. It's just gambling with physical items. But the real secret sauce of this website was a loyalty program called the Daily Cases, where the more you spent, the higher level you got, the more you'd get these daily cases.
But every site has this. Part2 has this. CSGO Roll. Wait, I don't know if Hellcase has it. Hellcase doesn't have it. Yeah, this site has it. There's Clash has it. Most guys has it, right?
Essentially were free money. Every single day you could go on their website and open these daily cases, and theoretically you'd get free stuff, free money. Which, if that sounds unsustainable, it is. It was all part of a scheme, it turns out, to make the Danish government believe that HypeDrop was not actually gambling. I received a letter HypeDrop gave to the Danish regulator arguing...
Wait, on March 27, we see election Danish gambling authority with reference number regarding the business one of the website HypeDrop. It is amazing. Open these free drop styles without making any deposits If the users continue to claim the tiles on the website, as have above, the price that they earn from claiming the tiles would be at least equal to or even higher than their initial stake. This means that after a period of 3 years, users will have earned guaranteed profit on the site, and therefore there is no risk of loss to users over time. Users either profit on the website, therefore do not incur a loss, or they are negative on the website and therefore will be able to claim the tiles to earn their losses and beyond back. Ooh.
Players could not.
That's like, yeah, that's like ooh, that's 200 IQ what they did there, bro. That's that way they can't get in trouble for like losses. Ooh.
Lose money on their site because over time, the daily cases paid back all the losses over roughly 3 years. This is one of those loopholes we talked about where they're going to argue they're not actually gambling because you can't lose. Now, of course, I asked HypeDrop about this, and initially...
Hey, have you been made aware that you reached out via CS2's? HypeDrop does not market daily cases investments. In this usage, the term invest was intended to refer to the player's expenditure of time and engagements on the site to accumulate rewards. The more HP the player receives, the higher their social status and the greater their access to various perks on the site, such as daily free rewards, access to free drops, various promotions, giveaways. The company determined that this wording may be confusing to some users and therefore limited any further usage on its site. HypeDrop has not made any arguments to government agencies on this or any other issue and remains legally compliant in the jurisdiction where it operates.
They denied ever sending this letter. Eventually, I showed them that I had their document, and they finally confessed, saying they did do it on one occasion, but denied trying to pass it off as an investment. They then quickly scurry away, saying, "This is our last comment." I bet it is, because they got caught making bad faith arguments to the Danish government. This type of loophole is why in their promotional material, HypeDrop said things like, yes, you'll always make at least your money back, and, quote, we offer return on what you invest.
What can I do with experience points? However, we want to give you back as much as possible, so we offer a return on what you invest through our daily free reward
through our
system.
daily reward system, and, quote, it's a win-win situation every time. Now, it only takes a few moments to realize that offering jackpots and money back to losers isn't gonna work. It has to be a scam, which is why many people like Monarch called this thing an unsustainable Ponzi scheme. And I can't believe I'm saying this, but he's right. On March 27th, 2024, Killian, the...
I want to be the first to tell you that I'm closing both HypeDrop and HypeUp. From 20, okay, I worked HypeUp. I think that was gambling. I gambled there 3 years ago, or 2021 or 2022, I think. From 26th of April 2024, with the goal of developing HypeDrop 2.0, sometimes HypeDrop, okay. But HypeUp wasn't like this. HypeUp was just a gambling website, like for slots. It wasn't like this with the HypeDrop. For some time, there has been a lack of senior leadership management, and I can no longer invest all my time working on these brands.
The owner announced that he was shutting down the site, effectively rug pulling his customers, who were all relying on these daily cases to make their losses back. This is part of what Monarch's paid goons were yelling about at the PGL majors. By removing their daily cases, HypeDrop, in my opinion, stole from their users and effectively revealed their legal loophole to be a lie. Now, with that all understood, let's circle back to this guy, Juicy, a gambling streamer who we heard from earlier. He was easily one of the biggest promoters of HypeDrop, and I wanted to know, given that he has widely promoted a scam, what was he gonna do to make things right? So let's talk about HypeDrop at this point. This has been kind of what precipitated the PGL majors, according to Monarch. He says, I had to protest HypeDrop. It was a Ponzi scheme that collapsed, and CSGO rolls next. Now, when I was looking up HypeDrop, you were one of the people who was promoting it, like one of the bigger YouTubers I saw, maybe the biggest. What's your take on promoting this stuff? Where's your ethical line for what you will take, what you won't take on?
Yeah. So to my understanding, I had never worked with a gambling site that had rewards that function like a Ponzi scheme, you know? So when I was playing on it, I'm not promoting the rewards, you know? I'm not like, this is the most rewarding IRL gambling site. So I was just playing with the product itself and, you know, making content around that. So obviously it's really f***ing annoying and bullshit when the rewards get, first off, cut down, and then second off, now there is no reward offering and the site's going away. Like, obviously very upset, not just for my own intent, but also mainly for the people who, especially if people put money into HypeDrop, thinking of it like a good monetary investment versus like I'm just gambling, you know? I'm pretty sure from my understanding that wasn't like a advertised thing. At least they weren't advertising, they weren't saying, hey, you got to tell them about this great investment option. I think that was more of a legal loophole that they were, you know, trying to operate.
He's just lying about some of this. He says he didn't advertise his daily cases, but I think he didn't think I'd watch his videos because he definitely did.
Daily reminder, claim your daily cases. They're free monies. Code JUICY will get you 3 free cases, so might as well. I mean, my daily cases used to pay a filthy amount of money. It was a full-time income just claiming them. Claim this every day, dude. We're making a full-time salary every month.
Yeah, he calls the daily cases basically a full-time salary.
Okay, this is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. That people are not transparent. They don't answer the questions honestly. And as well, it's one thing I want to say for Juicy, like everything Coffezilla is saying about him, fact, and he does seem kind of sus when he's answering the question. He's like, and you can see he's like trying to figure out what would be the best answer instead of just like answering, bro. Answer what you really think, what's your real opinion, and that's it. Be full transparent. But one thing for the Juicy guy is how can that guy know that these guys will rug pull? So if these guys over here have already like, I don't know, 2 sites that are working for years, like CSGO Roll is working for years, and now they open a new site and they ask him, you want to work with us on this new product? And he's like, okay, what's the new product? He sees the product, okay, this is this, they can claim cases, they can make money from this, yeah, they can do it, okay, I'll do it. And he starts doing it, and then these dudes after 2 years just pull out. How can he know that they're gonna do this? Yeah, he was sponsored. Spike, you're right. He was sponsored. Everything's true what you're saying. I'm just saying, how can he know that these guys would do this? That's all I'm saying. So, for example, tomorrow, example. Here, Muscle Tech. What was the name? Hydroxycut. Lawsuit. It was like this thing. Hydroxycut lawsuit. Hydroxy is centered around people who experience traumatic complication after the dietary supplement. So what happened is, this supplement, Hydroxycut, was making cases of Hydroxycut induced acute liver injury. So basically, a lot of people had like tumors and their liver collapse from Hydroxycut. So does this mean that every what's her name? Bodybuilders. Does that mean that every person who worked with Muscle Tech is now responsible for these people making a shitty product? Like, can this bodybuilder know what they put in this? You know what I mean? If they put whatever and they do this shit to people through the product, but the bodybuilder doesn't use that product, he's using like pre-workout, and he's using, or he's just getting paid to be a face of the product. How is he then responsible, and how can he know? So the same way, I'm not defending Juicy. I don't know him. I don't give a fuck. I'm just saying, like, my logic is instantly like, how can Juicy know that these guys are gonna close the site after 2 years and quit? How did he know they're scamming? How do you know they're scamming? You don't know they're scamming? I mean, if you're experienced with that, what you're saying now, when Coffezilla says it in a way that this is not a sustainable thing, maybe Juicy didn't. Like, me personally, I would never think of something like him because I'm not experienced with this. That's why I don't trade. When people ask me, do you want to trade? I can give you a coin you go into and then we're going to pull. I don't do that because I don't know how it's done and how it works, and I'm not experienced. But he knows, so he's instantly thinking, okay, this doesn't make sense. It's not going to work on the long run, la 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 la. And that's cool, but maybe not everybody gets that. If you promote something, it's your due diligence to know what you're promoting. Yes, but he knew what he was promoting, and he sees the product as is. And he believes that, okay, this could last 10 years. for example, CSGO role is lasting 10 years. He thought in CSGO role you have those same cases, right? When you go to that site, you have the same 10 cases that you're giving money back. So in CSGO role you have it, and it's working like 10 years already, since 2016 or 17 or even before. So why wouldn't this site now work as well for the next 10 years? I don't know. I'm not like I'm not 200 IQ. I'm just asking questions and being like, how can you blame Juicy for not knowing that the owners of the site would close the site after 2 years? You know what I mean?
But I thought surely after seeing that HypeDrop scammed people, he would cancel his sponsorship with the same company. Like,
okay, at least this. Okay, yes.
It's the sister casino CSGO
Yes.
role, right? He has to stop that now that he's scammed his audience. He didn't cancel it, right? So let me ask you, does that mean you're no longer going to work with CSGO role since they're run by the same people?
Well, I've already promoted the site, and I already have fans who use the site, and I don't think the reward offering there is gonna change. But yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate
But I think
that
you
they
can
did that.
see. I think you can see the logic of no one thought HypeDrop was gonna rug people. From
Its parent company denied daily case as scams unstable. Full response in the description, and their denial is at the end of the video.
These cases, these daily rewards. And if you are regretful, wouldn't that turn into some kind of action on your part to like change who you're working with?
Yeah, I understand that completely, but I feel like Counter-Strike sites aren't there to stay forever in the first place. I don't think anyone's expecting them to stay forever, and there really isn't many great options. So yeah, maybe it's f***ed up of me that I continue to do so, absolutely, but it really is one of the better options on the market right now, and there's a ton of dog shit on the market, so yeah.
And there it is. Absolutely, he doesn't want to change. Absolutely, he's not going to stop what he's doing. At the end of the day, past all the rationalizations, that's what it comes down to. It doesn't matter what you show them, what you prove to them. They're making too much money. And
True. That's what I'm saying. True. This is so true. All the streamers were making too much money from this, and that's why we do it. True. But the thing is, it's not only the CS streamers doing it. There's a much more even outside of CS streamers doing it. So I don't know, like what Coffezilla is showing is like everything everybody already knows, or I think everybody knows. But I think he should show more about how Valve, the major, all tournaments, all pro tier 1 teams, everybody inside CS is sponsored by gambling and betting. And if it wasn't for that, the game would die tomorrow. I think he should show a bit of that as well.
that is the part that I was struggling to like really get from these people. Is
and I don't understand why Juicy and these two guys accepted the call when they don't seem prepared at all to reply anything. They seem kind of very lost.
always say like, I do it for the love of gambling, man. I would do it if nobody paid me. Of course, they always do it getting paid. But this is the single biggest cope of gambling streamers. In fact, even Grim told me this, who we spoke to earlier about getting harassed. Luckily for me, though, his tax records are public. So I knew that he was actually making a few $1 million a year and had a few million reasons to lie about why he was doing what he did. So I decided to ask him if maybe the money did play a role. Somebody reached out to me. They said, hey, I found Grim's business. He made $5 million last year. Is that true? And does that undermine what you said about it's not about the money?
Yeah, no, that is true. That's like what's one of the, I guess, the downsides with Norway is everything's public. If they know my company name, even just my name, they Google around, they find it. So like everything that I make is public. And yeah, you could say that the argument is obviously hypocritical because like I made a lot of money, but like I don't.
Fuck, did he turn into XQC?
Downsides with Norway is everything's public. If they know my company name, even just my name, they Google around, they find it. So like everything that I make is public. And yeah, you could say that the argument is obviously hypocritical because like I made a lot of.
What? I need to hear this again. Busta Rhymes?
Yeah, you could say that the argument is obviously hypocritical because like I made a lot of.
What? Wait, what the fuck?
argument is obviously hypocritical because like I made a lot of money, but like I don't do
They're so
it
lost and scared, bro.
because I make a lot of money. I'd still do it if I didn't make a lot of money, and like even if I wasn't paid, I would still do it when I had excess money to do it because I like doing it. And it might like sound like a lie, but that's how I started it, and that's how I always wanted to continue.
It sounds like the $5 million might have something to do with it. But that's fine. I mean,
yeah, no, I mean, like I said, I 100% understand what people would think, like, oh, no, it's only because of the money. But, like, I know myself that it isn't only because of the money, but it's obviously great. Don't get me wrong.
How much did you make this year?
I'd rather not say, but I could say it's a lot.
Come on, Juicy, tell us. Tell us. Look,
so I actually don't know the exact answer myself, but I can tell you it's going to be right around Grimm's number, which I know he told you already.
Grimm's $5 million.
Yeah, and then I got to pay a stupid tax rate on that, but it's probably around there.
Both made about $5 million last year, so
5 mil? I need to step up my game, bro. I need to step up my game, bro. Holy fuck, they're making 5 mil. And they're this stupid? These guys are making 5 mil and they're this stupid? Yunus writing Juicy 50 mil. Bro, Yunus, we need to step up our game, bro. Can you fix some millions over here?
It's kind of obvious why they're not going to stop based on just a moral argument. And I began to wonder, like, how many of these influencers take these deals because they are so profitable? Well, luckily, thanks to the hard work of Jeff, who we mentioned
Top 300 CSGO streamers. Bro, there's no shot I'm not here.
earlier, whose documentary you should definitely go watch.
Bro, can I see?
I found out it's almost everyone.
This is the top 300.
You see? It's almost everyone. Lobanjica! 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 Cica! Bro, I am top 30 CS streamer. No shot, bro. Yes. Look, Gaules, Ochne Pixel, even he has, what? Or doesn't have, I don't know. Nicola, Flom, Isako, Skywalker, Pago, Kierel stream. And then I'm here, Lobanjica, bro. Even Simple has lol.
This is the top 300 CSGO streamers since the beginning of this year, ranked by watch time. Of 300...
Wait, guys, I'm in the top. Guys, talk shit about me now. Talk shit about me now. I'm in the top 300? Yo, I'm famous. Wait, where am I? Wait, he passed me. I'm up there. But I'm not down here. I'm up there. Wait, I'm up there. I need to check this up again. I need to glaze myself. Look at this, guys. Top 30. This is 28. Top 30 CSGO streamers.
This is the top 300 CSGO streamers since the beginning of this year.
No, by the way, when people talk shit about me, they forget that even Olofmeister, Forrest, Getright, Freiberg, all these streamers took case opening sponsors and all the fucking gambling sponsors. All these legends, all these people are talking about. Understand?
By watch time. Of 300, 226 are currently...
Out of 300, 226 are currently promoting CSGO gambling websites.
Sponsored by
But this is currently. But I'm telling you, more were doing it.
At least one of them. Some have up to 5. We are looking at 75%.
75%. It's insane. Counter-Strike gambling is basically funding over half of the scene with these ridiculous paychecks. And I began to wonder, not about the people who said yes, but the people who said no. They're the minority. I wanted to know, for the people who said no, how much were they offered and why didn't they take it?
This is something...
Arrow didn't take it? Bro, why would he take it, bro? He's rich and he's opening Valve cases. Valve probably paying him.
I think about a lot. Because there have even been moments in time where I've been offered $300,000 for a month of gambling.
300k for a month of gambling? Hello, Yunus, this guy 300k, you step up our game, bro. What?
$5,000 an hour. That could change my life. That could retire my mom. that could alter my family's lineage, but I keep turning it down.
Bro, you need to listen out. I'm gonna teach you a lesson. You need to sacrifice yourself for your family. That's what I'm doing. I'm sacrificing myself for my family. I'm sacrificing myself for my family to alter my family lineage. They're gonna have cars, they're gonna have apartments, they're gonna have houses. I'm not gonna be here to enjoy with them, but they're gonna have it. You feel me?
That was when I was an even smaller streamer than now.
300k when he was a smaller streamer. Okay, I'm getting scammed. I just figured out. I'm getting scammed.
That's
we need to call or talk.
Crazy.
Or maybe he's just full of crap. Why would somebody fucking give him 300k? Bro, if he got the sponsorship, all his viewers would leave. All his viewers would leave if he would accept the sponsorship, because it will make him a guy who's against gambling but promotes CS2 gambling, now switching up everything he hated and like was talking shit against, now going there, you know? It would like end his career, no?
Yeah.
One of the things I've been thinking a lot about is like how to change this, you know, what does even change look like, right? That's part of what I'm thinking about. It's like, what does even change look like for this industry?
What does change even look like? I'll tell you change. You get fucking SEC. They are like the big boss in America, and you tell them, guys, check out Valve. They made an in-game casino. They fucking addicted 5 million, 10 million, 50 million people to gambling. And thanks to Valve, there's a million other sites who are gambling. You guys need to look at these Valve guys. Gaben, he fucking even did a operation to get skinny. After he had 300 kilos, he made $50 billion by getting people addicted to gambling. That's what you need to. That's change, bro. That's change. But you don't have the balls to do that, because Gaben would find you and shoot. Never mind.
And one thing that I came to is like, the incentives have to change because they're so out of whack. The second you allow gambling sponsorships and streamers to like get sponsorship deals, how are you going to stop someone from taking that amount of money? You're a good person, so you just don't want to do it. That's your personal line. But I think it's hard for just even somebody who's a good person to say no. You know, it's only because you know what it would do to people. But that is such a crazy amount of money. You know, this interview almost ruined me on this story. I began to wonder if change was even possible when money like this is in the field for play. Like, the casinos aren't going to regulate themselves because they lose customers and there's so much money at stake. Most influencers aren't going to say no because there's so much money at stake and they could change their life and their family's lives by taking these deals. The more I looked into it, you can't expect all the people to be immune from this influence all at the same time, which is the only way to make change. It wasn't just the influencers or casinos either. Even esports, the most professional, supposedly, side of the game, was flooded with gambling. Almost every professional team had a gambling sponsor. For example, FaZe's Rollbit, the PGL Major was sponsored by 1xBet, G2 was sponsored by CSGO Roll, and this creates the same problem that it created with the influencers. If a sponsor is offering you buckets of money, it becomes really hard not to take, because if you don't take it, your competitor will. In fact, one esports owner argued,
without gambling or CS skins trading and rolling, the entire CS ecosystem would die. Degenerates prop up the scene and are the largest contributors to CS esports health. Thank you, your local crackhead in Twitch chat friends. It's because of them you're watching your favorite team play. I swear he's right, bro. I swear he's right. He's fucking right. It is like that, bro.
the entire...
His inventory is like 500k. I don't... Lol, his inventory is like 500k plus. Lol, did he say that to them? Yeah.
Ecosystem in Counter-Strike, especially in the lower leagues, is basically funded by the gambling industry and gambling addicts. So I called him to understand more of how this works. Can you walk me through how gambling functions in the esports economy?
The issue is that, or the issue, I guess, at hand that you're talking about is that
this activity is enabled by more controversial sponsors in gambling and skin rolling sites. If those sponsors weren't permitted, then the tier 2 and beyond scene in CS specifically would likely wither or die, or at the very least constrict to a very large degree. So that's what I meant by my tweet that you should thank your local betting crackhead in Twitch chat. If you're a fan of tier 2 CS and beyond, then the reason you're watching that team play is probably because of that better. To note, this is also true of a lot of orgs' profitability. So the value that traditional sponsors bring in for a tier 2 org, even more, with G2 and Rollbit, for example, the value that a traditional sponsor brings in versus a Gamba sponsor is like 15 or 20% of the value. So you don't really turn that down as an org owner unless you've got very specific moral qualms or disagree with gambling on a personal level.
But does this inflate the economy where if you're not taking a gambling sponsorship, you're almost at a disadvantage because your economics and what you're able to play players and attract talent is much less than somebody who, for example, has a gambling deal and is making way more money than you?
Yeah, to a degree, that's true, I think. Very, very few organizations are able to do it without Gamba. Largely, if you don't have Gamba, you're almost certainly going to be unprofitable.
You heard it there. You almost can't compete at the highest level without a gambling sponsor because they pay.
You can't compete at the highest level without a Gamba sponsor, and what did Valve do? They turned off any qualifiers to the majors, so now all the teams, if they want to fucking go to events, they want to qualify, they want to get players, they want to buy players, pay salaries and everything, they need Gamba sponsors. So Valve is actually supporting Gamba sponsors and wants more Gamba sponsors in the game. You know I'm right. 100% I'm right. Because why else would they close up the fucking thing? Loba are natural? Yes. Why would the fuck would they then close the fucking thing of normal people who practice, who play to qualify to the majors through the RMRs like it was for like 10 years? They closed it because they want more money, more Gambas, more slots, more skins, more charms, more money, more cases, more.
So much more than everyone else. And if everyone else is doing it, they will have more money to spend on a team than you. And get better players and therefore likely beat you. There's just no more profitable sponsor to turn to. And so a lot of people actually take the money. So even if that sponsor is a site that allows minors to play with no ID, who cares? Just slap an 18+ sticker in your ad for them and get plausible deniability. That's what G2 did when announcing their CSGO role sponsorship. A depressing fact about this video is the star of it, a guy named Monesi, turned 18 only days before they announced the sponsorship, which means in the video, it was filmed when he was 17. He was underage in their casino, supposedly 18+, and no one cared. A perfect metaphor for this entire industry. It's all optics. I have to tell you, by the way, the exact day I announced I was investigating Counter-Strike gambling, CSGO Roll did announce for the first time.
CSGO Roll we've previously enforced 100% age verification requirements in some jurisdictions while following strict guidelines elsewhere. Part of our commitment to do all that, we can ensure that minors are protected from using our platform. We're taking this one step further by asking all users to verify their age, prove they're 18+ before playing our games.
That they were going to be asking all users to prove that they're 18 before playing. Whether or not it's coincidence, they announced it same day, I don't know. Take it for what it is. Maybe it's a token gesture, they'll roll back. Or maybe it's a sudden change of heart for the youth. I don't know. Either way, the point I'm making is that for many people and professional teams, the choice to take a gambling sponsorship is like the choice for PEDs in the Olympics or steroids in the WWE. You can say no, but if everyone else is using them and getting ahead, you choosing not to for ethical reasons will get you left behind, and your peers will become more successful than you. It's a depressing cycle that has me flashing back to the CSGO Wild days several years ago and realizing we're right where we started. CSGO Wild in 2016 was a gambling website secretly owned, slightly disputed, by FaZe Clan. And according to FaZe Banks, his motivation to do that was pretty simple.
My motivation for doing it actually was at the time we weren't making enough money to buy a CSGO team. All in, the venture was gonna cost us like $1 million, and we definitely did not have anything close to that. So my brain, like we gotta finesse it. We gotta figure out how to make the money to buy this team now, because in the next 6 months, year, this team's gonna be worth like $4 or $5 million, and we're not gonna be able to get into this game, which in our heads we need to get in this game.
Yeah, when you hear it, it sounds crazy. It sounds like a cope, but his plan actually worked. FaZe got away with it. FaZe Clan has a Counter-Strike team that won 2nd place in the infamous PGL Major all these years after CSGO Wild. It's alive and well, and still funded, by the way, by gambling, just by a different gambling website. Now it's Rollbit. It's reportedly a multi-million-dollar deal. Now look, I know seeing this is all very depressing, but we've actually learned some really...
So why is he saying depressing? Anybody depressed? I'm not depressed. I knew this. This is truth, bro. This is CS, bro. And I've been saying it on stream for so much. Like, he's not even saying what's happening in Tier 2. The amount of match fixing and cheating. Even in Tier 1, but not as much as in Tier 2. The match fixing and cheating for the money. Like, bro, like the fucking betting sponsors have teams, and then those teams have to throw games depending on the betting that's happening in match fixing. Like, bro, the amount of shit happening in Tier 2 is like, hello. Nobody's doing shit. Coffezilla vids made me depressed. Shut up. Nobody's depressed.
Valuable things. Firstly...
What do you mean it's sad, bro? Like, you didn't notice? Oh, you're telling me you didn't notice?
Can't fix this at the individual level of influencers, esports teams, or even casinos. Doxing people, harassing them doesn't fix it or the underlying problems. It's a deep, systemic problem of incentives. Of course, acknowledging that also doesn't absolve individuals. I wouldn't dare say it's okay for Juicy to do what he does, where people have been scammed and he continues to work with the same parent company. That said, if he stopped, it wouldn't change things suddenly. Someone would take his place. So if we're serious about trying to solve this problem, we have to look farther up the food chain than influencers, even than casinos, even than esports leagues. We have to zoom out and see the root cause.
Valve definitely does have underage gambling problem. They really don't have an incentive to stop it.
Underage, middle age, overage, however you want to slice it.
I think they have all the responsibility. I mean, you could pass me some of that if you want, but ultimately they're the kingpin, reaping in all of the money, or majority of the money, and there's a reason why they haven't killed it yet. They've possessed the power for all these years, but they allow it to go, and I feel like they do the bare minimum crackdown to allow it to keep operating.
Director of PR, CSGO role, and Innocent Gaming denies scam allegations. Full response in description. The rewards model that we had in place in 2023 allowed the cost of daily freeze to increase beyond a comfortable level due to rising skin prices. This led to user expectations around rewards that were unsustainable, and adjustments were necessary. CSGO Role's website and marketing materials clearly state leveling up should not be seen as an investment. Daily frees are prone to change at all times, and do not expect that they will stay the same. Bro, he's going at Valve and Fat Gaber. Let's fucking go. Let's see if anything gonna change. Nothing gonna change because he doesn't give a fuck about what Coffezilla is doing, posting or recording, bro. Gabe gonna keep making billions. Coffezilla gonna keep making YouTube videos, and the world keeps going, and gambling gonna keep popping because life is shit. And I wish you a good night, guys.